Alright guys, it's that time of year. E3 2014 is upon us, and I guess I didn't do this last year, but I always like watching the footage and giving my thoughts on it, so I'm just going to do a quick rundown of what I've seen so far, which includes Microsoft and EA. Ubisoft is going on as we speak right now, but I've got to get ready to go to class, so I'll be watching that and Sony's later today. But I just kind of wanted to touch on a couple of things. Overall, I thought Microsoft had a pretty good showing, as Phil Spencer said a bunch, and it's been brought up everywhere on the internet right now, is it was all about the games. You didn't really, well, actually, you didn't hear mention of anything else, not even the $100 price drop, the lack of Kinect or anything. I'm assuming they did that well in advance of E3 just so that wasn't the sole focus and that they can try to save face with the fans. And overall, I think they did that. It's more about the gamers now, and Jeff Haley on Spike's coverage even asked Phil Spencer about the backtracking on the Kinect, and it was the political answer, but at the same time he said there's already developers taking advantage of that extra processing power they don't have to use for the Kinect, and while it kind of leaves the first adopters behind, $100 short, he's saying that there's going to be more involved for the Kinect, which I don't really see happening unless something major comes out. But anyway, back to the press conference. They announced some games. Started off with Call of Duty. I'm over it. It's going to be like, I put on Facebook, Call of Duty, RoboCop. I mean, the guy loses his arm. I don't know. It was very underwhelming. Looked very pretty, but, I'm kind of over it. And then they showed off a couple other games, a couple small, well, one of them that I hadn't heard of, I think it's called Evolve, or I think maybe the title is The Kraken. At least the character looked like a Kraken, so I don't know. It has a Left 4 Dead feel to it with different classes, and maybe 1 versus 4 online multiplayer. I don't know about that online portion, but it's definitely co-op geared, which is nice, refreshing. I mean, I remember playing Left 4 Dead with my friends. Even Borderlands, I mean, it just shows that the co-op market is out there, so that's something to be excited about. Assassin's Creed Unity, again, with the integrated, seamless, it looked like co-op. Now I know it's an E3 demo, but that did look impressive, and what better way to enjoy Assassin's Creed now and change up the formula than having 3 other people as assassins help you out. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be room for combos and things like that, so I'm definitely kind of pumped about that, and now I need to work on my backlog of Assassin's Creed games, so there's that. They did Dead Rising 3 DLC, which was like a really campy, arcadey, kind of like 80s, 90s arcade type feel to it. So that's interesting. I didn't really get into Dead Rising 3, so I'm not too hyped about that, but I know people out there are. Another Forza, which is to be expected. Looks great, but it's another Forza. They did Dragon Age Inquisition, and I'll talk about that later when I talk about EA. Fable Legends, I'm just hoping it's not something that's overpromised yet again. It looked decent enough on screen. I guess we'll wait to see what else is released out there as it gets closer to coming out, if the features that they showed off today are actually going to be in the game. There was a dragon game called Scalebound introduced. Again, it's CGI, and I think that was kind of big in this conference, was a lot of CGI. Some gameplay footage, but they want to show it off, and again, as it's E3, they encourage you to go to the booth, but hey, guess what? Millions of people can't go to their booths, only media and stuff like that, so that kind of sucks. What else? Oh, the company behind Limbo is making a game called The Inside, and that looks phenomenal. I'm really pumped about that, and I think that's going to be an Xbox One exclusive, and while it is an indie game, I mean, I think that experience alone would be worth picking up an Xbox One. And then the two big another small game that I think is going to be pretty big too is Ori and the Blind Forest. That looked intriguing, cute, and even kind of dark in a way, and I'm kind of intrigued on that, and I think even Phil Spencer talked about that before the press conference. It's a company that you never heard of on a game that you haven't heard about, so that'll be exciting. But then there's the heavy hitters. Halo Collection, Halos 1 through 4, the Master Chief Collection. I think it's a great idea. I mean, why not milk more money out of the series, honestly, as a business perspective? But then it gives a lot of people the chance to actually play the entire collection, especially the remastered 1 and 2. A lot of people, I mean, I grew up with the franchise, but a lot of people out there started with 3 or 4 or even ODST or Reach. So it's nice so that we can actually get the core story of Master Chief, especially since 343 wants Halo 5 to revolve around Master Chief's humanity, I guess, following the events of Halo 4. So I'm pretty excited about that. Still, I don't know that it's an Xbox One pusher, but it's something else out there that is building the library, the catalog for Xbox. And then there was Crackdown announced, and so that looks just as awesome as the first Crackdown was. I didn't play Crackdown 2, but the first one was amazing and addicting. Even though it was pushed with the Halo beta, it had its own game, and I'm actually kind of excited about that. Again, I don't know that it's a console pusher, but hopefully, well, at least from Microsoft's perspective, they get a large enough install base to be able to warrant, to get people to buy it and, you know, generate hype. So that's Microsoft's point of view. Again, I thought they did a good job, especially since last year was a fiasco. And, you know, it's way better than last year's press conference, but then again, I don't think it was hard to do that. And I think slowly but surely they might be gaining the trust of core gamers back. And we'll see how that works for them, you know, this year. EA, on the other hand, I felt their press conference was a little, well, I don't want to say dull, but it certainly felt flat. It wasn't flashy. There wasn't any really hardcore name drops and titles or anything like that. Maybe that's what they were going for because there's a change over at EA, but I don't know. I wasn't all that impressed with it. But it wasn't bad either. It was just kind of safe, and I think that's a general consensus out there. But as far as what was presented, they started off with the Battlefront video. A lot of that was really early game footage, and I'm sure will not be indicative of what the final game will be. But the fact that it's in production, they've got a sizable team working on it, and the fact that they scouted the locations where the film was originally shot. They've gone to LucasArts library and seen the props and stuff. So I mean, it's definitely a game that DICE is taking seriously, and I mean, it can only be awesome. So I'm really excited about that. And, you know, I'm waiting on bated breath about news that's coming out for that in the future. Then they came out with BioWare. I mean, obviously they had to touch on Dragon Age Inquisition, and I mean, I'm going to get that on principle because I liked the first 2 games. The first one I enjoyed much better than the second, but, you know, I thought the stories overall were pretty good. And so this one probably won't be any exception. And the battle fight looks quite epic now. I remember fighting the High Dragon in the first game, and that was an ordeal, and this looks like it'll be more fluid and dynamic and at the same time more dangerous. So, you know, it's going to be big. It's going to be, I mean, that's a AAA title, I think, and so a lot of people are excited about it. I'm probably not as excited as a lot of other people are, but it's a game that I'm going to buy and I'm going to play and probably enjoy. So, just because BioWare, by reputation, tells a great story. That being said, however, everything else that they talked about was very underwhelming, and honestly, I don't know why they even brought it up at the press conference. I mean, EA doesn't push consoles, they don't make consoles, so I don't know why they had to bring BioWare out at all, really, because they talked about the next Mass Effect game, which they had already acknowledged as soon as Mass Effect 3 was out, and they showed some, you know, screenshots of, I mean, it looked like concept art, talking about new planets in a different, I don't know about galaxy, but in a different area of space, and you saw Krogan there, but honestly, it was just, it pulled my heartstrings a little bit because I love that franchise so much, and I heard the music before the, you know, as they were starting the video, and I was like, are they going to show something substantial? But they really didn't, and so I know a lot of people out there are really excited about that, but I mean, I've already known the game's been in development, and that's pretty much it. And then they talked about a new IP, but then they really didn't. They just said a new persistent world where time passes by, and I mean, I guess that's cool, but there was no context given, just a little blip of a piece of their world that kind of looked like post-apocalyptic, you know, Earth, but, you know, yeah, so overall, I didn't really see the point other than filling some time, I guess. Then EA Sports, obviously, new updates to Madden, now working on more tackling. I'm not excited about it, you know, unless I get blown away by a demo where it's far more intuitive. It's just basically, I don't know. I haven't been hyped about a Madden for a while. I still buy them for whatever reason because I get a wild hair up my ass because I want to play. And kind of take out my frustrations on how my Raiders are doing throughout the season. But I mean, they always talk innovation about the controls, and really, it's just really clunky. And it's how it amounts to every year. Then there was the UFC Bruce Lee Simulator, which was kind of dumb. Extreme Golf, Golf Unleashed. That was ridiculous. EA PGA Tour, featuring a golfer hitting over a battleship over on fire, crashing into an island. I mean, they must have taken a page out of Battlefield's book. I mean, I guess if DICE is collaborating with anyone, you might as well throw it in your golf game too. But you know, it was utterly ridiculous. They showed off Mirror's Edge. They showed development footage of the gameplay, and it looks just as sleek and simplistic and yet futuristic at the same time as you'd come to expect. And I liked how they talk about Faith a little bit and keeping her character design, but you know, obviously changing it for the next generation and how time has changed her. And so I think that'll be, I mean, I'm pumped for that. I'm going to buy that. I played the shit out of the first one. I mean, I wasn't any good at it, but it was so nice and so refreshing to be able to take a different path each time you played a game, and even finding fast ways to get around ways where you didn't think it would be able to be possible, but you know, quick timing and reflexes will get you where you want to go in that game. So I'm really looking forward to more of that. And then the biggest one was Battlefield Hardline. I hadn't actually heard about this game. I knew there was another one in development, but I didn't know what it was about. And so when I finally saw the trailer, I was actually blown away. You know, the whole cops versus robbers thing is a tried and true story device, and they brought in a video game form, and the fact that, you know, the marriage between the two studios that are making it is pretty phenomenal. I think it looks great. And the gameplay looks very fast and frantic now. How that translates when we actually get a hold on it will probably be a little bit different, seeing how that was a stage demo and not people camping and stuff like that during the gameplay. But I think it looked phenomenal, and I'm really actually looking forward to it. And they dropped the mic by saying the beta was live right now. I tried getting it on my PS4 since I have Battlefield 4 on it. But the servers were so full of people trying to download it at the same time that I don't know if I got in. I signed up for it on the website, but I still don't. That's still no guarantee. So we'll see about that. But anyway, those are my thoughts about Microsoft and EA, and I'll put up another video regarding Sony and Ubisoft. And then I guess Nintendo is going to be doing one of those Nintendo conferences that they do every year. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.